Good morning. I'm going to give you an update as to my art progress. But first, last night I was intending to read some more from this One Piece anthology that I got from the local comic book store on Free Comic Book Day. Since I was there getting free comic books, I wanted to make sure to purchase something. I was actually very sleepy last night, so I only read the next chapter. Now, manga is intended to be read very quickly. Each chapter is analogous to an episode of anime, or maybe half an episode. The Shonen Jump series tend to take maybe two chapters and turn them into an episode, maybe one and a half. I'm no expert on this. These are just amateur observations. So, this is continuing this fun, kind of whimsical story where we have these pirates, maybe pirate teenagers, having adventures against and fighting against the bad pirates. So, good pirates, sort of our plucky buccaneers against the bad corsairs, that type of archetype. This double page spread, I'm guessing, would have been in color in the original publication, and also done completely by the creator with Copic markers or something similar to that. Whereas the chapter itself uh, would have uh, he would have done that with the assistance of his assistants. Anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about the next chapter. Just one thing I will point out is I do enjoy the ratio of words to pictures in the manga format because the words never overwhelm the pictures. It's a good, breezy reading order so that you don't even feel like you're reading. It's more like watching a film, except a film where you get to supply all of the details and atmosphere yourself and the voice acting, which is sort of the strength of comics, is that it engages the reader's imagination. I do like the use of black also. It does have some very strong blacks. Now, manga does have a lot of sound effects. I believe the Japanese language is replete with stylized sound effects, and these don't always translate well into other languages. So when I see splack and tump, which is sort of trying to recreate those sound effects with English phonotactics, sometimes I just have to go with the flow. When I think of sound effects in comics, I often think of Don Martin of Mad Magazine fame, who created many unique and strange sound effects. But I think a veteran reader of manga who doesn't know Japanese can still understand what the sound effects are supposed to be. It's just a quirk of that particular subgenre of comics. Anyway, what is the next of the funniest comics, according to this book? This book, which came out at the anniversary. Alright, Calvin and Hobbes. Okay, Dad, how come you live in this house with Mom instead of in an apartment with several scantily clad female roommates? Reaction: Boy, ask a simple question and get all your television privileges revoked. One of these days, I'll have to have a long discussion of Calvin and Hobbes, since Calvin and Hobbes, along with Far Side and Bloom County, was sort of the last renaissance of the newspaper comic strip. From the mid-'80s to the mid-'90s, obviously Bloom County continued a little longer with Opus and Outland and such. And Cul-de-sac by Richard Thompson sort of tried to bring back the Renaissance a little bit. The one thing about Calvin and Hobbes, which I've mentioned before, but I think it's good to look at that when we're actually looking at a Calvin and Hobbes strip, is that we see the continuation of the idea of the child, here a 6-year-old child, who has the vocabulary of an adult, but not quite the reasoning skills. And this is something that we see all the way in the beginning with Buster Brown, Linus from Peanuts, Barnaby to some extent. You can even sort of say that with Little Abner. So this is just a recurring theme of comics, and just something that just goes very well with that style. So anyway, yesterday I finished 2 pages in this monochrome sketchbook. Let's see. Yes, I finished inking this page, and then I penciled and inked the next page. I did paint, I think, 2 pages in the tiny sketchbook. So today, what I'll be doing is digitally working on these pages to make sure that they look right, and then I will finish inking this next strip. I probably won't do any painting today because this digital work is takes some time. Uh, you know, because I'm trying to keep the feel of this being handmade and unique, but I do want to remove the blemishes and even out the colors a little bit. So this will take a good portion of my energy and of the day. But I should have time to work on at least one strip and maybe pencil something else. All right. Well, that's my update for today, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.